disc at the 2022 World Games, and goodness, it has been a long time, and we are so thrilled to be here on site getting ready to watch these games with Daryl Stanley, the coach of the USA U24 team, the DC Breeze, DC Truck Stop. Megan Tormey has won countless medals in her playing career. I am Evan Lepler. I'm here to make them look superior in my inferiority. And Canada and Germany will get the day started in about 14 minutes. Liam Grant and Hannah Pendlebury will be calling that action from the Olympic Channel studios in Madrid. Wow, it feels amazing to be here. Daryl, this is your first experience being at the World Games. You arrived yesterday afternoon. Can you just kind of set the scene on what it feels like, the magnitude of this event?
You feel that as soon as you come off that plane. The signage, the experience, the looks of some of the people are giving you. I could see the people in the airport trying to figure out, what sport am I a part of? What nation am I with? And people seem like they were really curious to ask me my story. I think that's been very impressive, and the hospitality here, perfect.
Megan, what was your experience landing in Birmingham and feeling the World Games vibe?
Well, I arrived a little later, so I think I missed any looks of trying to figure out who I belonged with. But even walking into the hotel, you saw individuals wearing their jersey from their country, and you realize, wow, it is here, it is happening. People have traveled so far to get here. People have been training for so long to get to this moment, and now the stage is set, and I'm just so excited for the action to begin.
We got 5 days of competition, 3 days of pool play. The semis will be on Friday. The 2022 Flying Disc Championship of the World Games will be on Saturday. 21 years ago, Ultimate made its World Games debut, and we're going to see Team Canada going for their first gold since that first World Games debut 21 years ago. That Canadian team led by Mike Grant. For those who didn't imagine Ultimate existed 2 decades ago, it did. We got the footage from it, and it'll look a little different today. This game was played to 18. It went to Universe, and Team Canada is kind of on a mission to get back to that glory.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that's really fascinating is maybe that balance of the west coast of Canada, the east coast of Canada, and I love that Team Canada makes them come together. Like Furious George in the open division, and Toronto Goat, two teams that are just historic. Very, very, very challenging teams to play, to coach against, to go against, and to see them now recombine in this next generation. I'm kind of excited to see that personally.
This was Universe Point, the game-clinching goal. Now, the United States of America lost and got silver in 2001. USA has won gold in each of the last 4 iterations of the World Games, 05, 09, 2013, and most recently 2017 in Wrocław, Poland. There's the newest incarnation of Team Canada. Mike McKenzie in the foreground there, along with Britt DeSantos, getting ready to lead the Canadians against a German team that might be the wild card. It's their first time competing in the World Games since 2005 when the World Games were in Germany, so they got a spot. And, Megan, this is a country that has really risen over the past decade under the leadership of Stefan Reckett. They expect to compete, and I personally think that Germany can give Canada one heck of a game this morning.
Well, they have been working for a very long time. They have been training as a world team since, I think, about October. So they've had a lot of time to get the pieces into place appropriately. So they've had the lead-in time to develop the systems that they need to battle against a juggernaut like Canada. So I agree with you, Evan. I think this is going to be a surprising game from Germany if you are not prepared for what they have brought to the games today.
Daryl, give us the coach's perspective on being a coach of a national team, getting ready to play your first game of the tournament. What is most worrying you?
Oh my, it's so unnerving because you're not really sure how your players are going to respond to pressure. That's one of the best things for me in these tough games. When I'm coaching my teams, I know how these people are going to react. I know which certain players need to hear certain things. I know what it looks like when they're warming up, and if they had a tough warm-up, I know which ones are likely to bounce back with a word from me or without. When I'm coaching a national team, I don't know that. And that is the biggest and scariest thing. You don't know if it's normal for this person to feel the way they're feeling right now. So I think that's the toughest thing.
It is overcast right now. It is hot, certainly not as hot as it is going to get, but it's humid, it's muggy, and the Germans have been in Atlanta for the past week. They played several exhibitions against Great Britain and Australia in Atlanta. Let's hear from the Germans, Nico Müller and Lev Kowalczyk, getting ready for the 2022 World Games.
Everyone's just playing Ultimate, whether it's in Europe or it's in the US or wherever it is. We're all doing the same thing, means that at the end of the day, we all have the chance to win.
Actually, I think the team has no particular feeling about any game because we were focusing a lot on ourselves the last couple of months, and I think we still are as we are arriving here in Atlanta. So I wouldn't say not depending on whoever we are going to play, there's no particular feeling. We just like to play with each other, and whoever it's going to be, we'll match up against. That's certainly how the team is feeling right now.
Everyone prepares for the World Games in a slightly different way. Some teams have been working for months and months. Others have had just a few practices to get ready. It's a real interesting dichotomy. And we should mention this is a different feel than the World Games has ever had. For the first time, there are 8 countries. In the past, it's been 6, and you've had a round-robin pool play, 2 games a day in most days, and you play 5 pool play games. This is a little bit different, which I think creates a little more sense of urgency. We got 2 pools of 4. This is the Canada-Germany game. They're in the pool with USA, Great Britain, which we'll see later tonight. The other pool, Australia and France, will be the second game of the day, along with Japan and Colombia, which might be the marquee game of the day. Megan, how does the 2 pools compared to 1 change your perspective and outlook as we begin this tournament?
Well, I certainly think it's going to be even more important for teams to come out polished and ready every single game. You know, there's such an advantage to being at the top of your pool going into bracket play. And so you really don't have the opportunity to take those early games and just sort of gel, start to coalesce. You really want to make sure that you come out prepared, and that just increases the amount of pressure that you feel going into your very first game.
If you go 3-0 in pool play, obviously you're guaranteed to win your pool. If you go 2-1 in pool play, you could be left out, Daryl. And so every game is a massive sense of urgency.
Yeah, I think the top 2 are the only that are advancing to semis of each pool. And I think what's really interesting, too, is the 1 game a day format compared to previous World Games. I think that's going to make for some very strategic play. I mean, all the coaches and players are going to be watching their next opponent every single game. So I think that from a coaching perspective, I'm excited to see, just like the chess match that these different nations go through as they start to watch each other and see what each other are bringing.
Final thoughts on Canada and Germany. Megan, who you got?
It is really hard to bet against Canada. They have so many talented players. I think it is going to be a far more competitive game than you might initially think given past World Game performances, but I do have Canada winning this matchup.
Yeah, I think that's right. I'm excited for the contrast in styles. My experience has been coaching against the U24 version of the German national team. They are much taller than you expect, and this Canada team is surprisingly not as tall as it has historically been. So I'm pretty excited to see if Germany can make that really stand out and make this game really exciting.
My friends north of the border may not appreciate it. I'm going to pick Germany as a surprise upset to get the World Games started. Liam Grant and Hannah Pendlebury will have the call from the Olympic Channel studios in Madrid. We will send it to them after the break. The World Games just getting underway.
Every 4 years, there is a new opportunity. A chance for the world's best players to take center stage. A chance for glory, for teamwork, for upsets. for gold. 8 countries are sending their 14 finest to Birmingham, Alabama for the opportunity to reach the pinnacle of ultimate. The 2022 World Games start right now.
Welcome to the World Games 2022, taking place in Birmingham, Alabama. The Games represent the pinnacle of competition for 3,600 of the world's best athletes in 30-plus unique multidisciplinary sports. We are moments away from the opening game in flying disc, Canada versus Germany in this Pool A matchup to kick things off. 5 years since the last World Games. Liam Grant alongside Hannah Pendlebury. Hannah, are you excited for this game?
I am absolutely stoked, Liam. As you say, 5 years in the making, pushed back by a global pandemic. And we have 28 of the world's best flying disc ultimate Frisbee athletes in front of us, ready to get things underway in Birmingham.
Yes, flying disc happening at the John Carroll High School in Birmingham, Alabama, as we see the German players lining up there. Their first time here since 2005. A very tall German side, you can see for this. They're playing in black, Canada playing in white.
Indeed, number 14, Simona Liebert's actually probably one of the tallest female athletes representing the flying disc at these World Games. Canadians, however, been every single iteration since back in 2001 when they took that gold medal. Haven't had one since, 3 bronzes to their record since 2001. But the Germans, having gotten the 2005 host bid when they hosted the World Games. And it's nice to see them back qualifying here. And it could be a shocker to starters. What do you reckon, Liam?
Yeah, I think this is a great chance for Germany to try and catch Canada on the hop. They've been training for this for essentially a year now, probably put in more preparation than any other team. Have been in the US in the heat for a couple of weeks now. We're in Atlanta beforehand, had some warm-up games, notably beat Australia in a warm-up match that necessarily didn't count for anything, but it does show the strength of this German side. Probably the favourites to cause an upset out of Europe.
Indeed, and lots of clubs being represented. The likes of Seagulls, Bad, Skid, Wall City, who are a relatively new team coming out of the German club circuit, but we'll get more into the depth of that as the play goes on. We'll be starting out with gender ratio rule A, so 4 women to get us cracking, with the Canadians with the opening pool.
As we look at the keys to the game here, cross-gender huck, something that was big for Canada in their warm-up matches at Poultry Days. We saw them using their women as a deep threat a lot. We saw Tim Sang kind of looking to find them deep. And you see they rely on the lead experience. They're going to have been to the World Games a lot more than Germany have. I don't think anyone on this German side has played in the World Games. Canada have a few, so they're going to try and rely on that experience.
And as you said, Germans are much more prepared in terms of how they've had the run-up to this tournament. Like you say, those friendly matches beforehand. But they also are going to be looking to use their female matchups as a key. We've seen in lots of the, especially on the beach discipline for flying disc and ultimate Frisbee, they really like to isolate their female matchups because they have some extremely talented athletes. You see there the back shirt of Anna Gerner on your screen. She'll be a key one coming out of the Jinx Club in Germany, but also look out for the likes of Letske Volchak and Nikki Prien for sure.
And here we go, the first pull of the World Games 2022 here in Birmingham, Alabama. Germany on offense. Gerner catching that opening pull, working with Nico Müller in the backfield, fakes the big shot. German stacked very far away at the moment. Just working it in the handlers. Getting close to this sideline now. Müller not entirely happy what he sees downfield. Fakes the big shot again, but holsters it. Now the little inside break. Get things motoring upfield. Samuel Beutenmüller earning some yards for the Germans. Good defense here from the Canadians, not allowing them to gain much yards upfield. Going backwards now, Müller. And really struggling to get upfield passes. Now using the break side again. and is Samuel Beutemüller, who's been one of the few who's been able to get yards downfield. Nico getting high in the stall count now, and again finds Samuel Beutemüller. And now a couple of yards gotten for the Germans. Liebert to Beneves. Better offense now. Again, keeping the distance, Germans. You see a little Alabama shake there from Nico Müller to get free. Behind the stall count again, but Müller is always there. Steph Doscher now, the left-handed player, puts one out into space. Looks to go again, but now we get the round to Gerner, who's been an anchor of this offense. And another breakthrough and a beautiful goal for Germany. They hold the first point. You can see how much it means to them. What a mammoth hold there for Germany.
Yeah, a calm and composed start for Team Germany. That's what we want to see. Lots of give-goes in the handler space, but happy to play that small ball. I like the near poach off to prevent that score at the end from Team Canada. A wily play, but cannot stop. Just a nice, solid hold, and we are on serve to start this opening match.
Yeah, magnificent point there from the Germans. There was a lot of pressure coming from the Canadians there, and this was a real test. Starting off on offense, first point of the tournament, there's a lot of pressure there. They've been working towards this for years. Real test of their grit and their mental state, and they did so well there. You saw the first few passes, they were struggling downfield. They were working between Anna Gerner and Müller, who did well to reset the disc. Seems like easy enough conditions to play, and not too much wind or rain or anything like that, so quite easy to get those resets.
Absolutely, and as you say, it's the just starting off conservative, not going for those risky shots. I mean, we'll see how Team Canada respond, as we've already mentioned. They like to throw it deep to their female matchups, so we will see what they're going to come out with for their offensive chance.
Robin Hönschemeyer with the pull for Germany. You see Canada playing in a more horizontal stack, spread out across the field. Oh, and a run through D. A massive chance for Germany now to get a break. That was a huge, huge play. Levka Waljak, who's played all over the world, describes herself as a nomad. Looking to get the break opportunity. Konrad Schleur has Levka up the line, and she's going to get it. Oh, and a big poach block. Tim Sang picks that one out. Looked like that was going to be a big break there, but a good poach in the lane.
They're dialing it in a slim channel that they were given. But the first turnover of the game.
Yeah, that was a big opportunity gone, a begging for the Germans. But it does show their defensive prowess here. It's not going to be a walk in the park for the Canadians. Lauren Kimura. Tim Sang running the show here. And he looks for that deep shot, which has been so successful for them. This one a little bit overshot. Another opportunity for the Germans.
And looks to be Brittany Dos Santos there underneath that one as the favoured target. Made a name for herself back in the under-24s division in Heidelberg back in 2019. Big stamping play on the highlight reel there. Recommend you catch that one.
The Canadians here struggling to find their flow in this opening point. We saw Tim Sang throughout the season nail those deep shots to particularly the female matchups. You see Sebastian Spiegel move the disc. That is Konrad Schleur, who launches a big hook. Levka Waljak trying to chase this one down, and this is going to be a break for Deutschland. What a massive score. They lead 2-0.
Oh, and that is absolutely huge. Getting us underway. Goodness gracious me. Waljak with the goal. We definitely are going to see a lot of action out of Waljak and Schleur. They are two players that you really in those crunch situations want to have on your O-line, but they are such animals on defense that, yeah, just, you know, easy turns, but the great bid to begin us off. Missed opportunity, but the D-line from Germany going to work.
Yeah, Troutman getting that first block, which got him to turn, and Tim Sang, that flick, forehand fading away. And as you said, Schleur and Waljak, two of the best D-line players in the world. Hard to get any better than them connecting here. Definitely have crazy athleticism. And Waljak does well to keep that separation from the speedy Catherine Menzies, who's a hard woman to keep away from, but does well to chase that one down. And they coming back onto the field for more as we see them there.
Absolutely. In short rosters, only 14 athletes allowed. There are alternates in Birmingham, just in case, but definitely a case of how you manage yourself, especially in the humidity and the heat in Birmingham. We are early doors, live on the fields. It is the morning time, but later on in the stage of this tournament, we might see some extra breaks for the hot conditions as Germany's defence comes out and looks to fire up the engine for another block.
Schlur with the pull there. Man playing his ultimate in Berlin with Wall City. A lot of Berlin players now in this roster. See Canada offense again looking a little better now. And there comes the big hook from Andrew Carroll. And again, overshot a little bit, not connecting there.
So perhaps a rare bit of nerves from Team Canada, trying to hit Catherine Menzies. Third representation here at the World Games level. Previously known by her maiden name of Hui and a brilliant Frisbee nickname of Chewy.
Those shots are on, Hannah. They were connecting with them so well throughout the season, and right when you need it, not connecting now. Spiegel with a chance for the Germans. Again, a very far away horizontal stack. You see Schlur again working upfield. Wolzak gone again, but hosts it this time. Spiegel not happy with the disc here.
Yeah, the player currently living in Lanzarote is going to be asking for a new disc. That one seems to have been tacoed, as we refer to it, a bit bent. Of course, this self-refereed sport, they are allowed to see when the disc is needing a replacement.
You just said stoppage.
So that is a stop. So if he says stoppage, it's a stoppage.
Yeah.
If it's an incorrect stoppage, then it will be like an accepted offensive breach. So I'm not telling you, but the disc would come in at 1.
Yeah.
And so
I would say we definitely need a new disc. But we can't change it if it's not punctured.
So it's.
I mean, I'm happy to change it. He just said he's happy to change it.
You're happy that you both want to change it? Sorry.
See our game advisors in green there. Flying disc, a self-refereed sport, but we do have game advisors who help with the running of the game, keeping times there for rules clarification. And we are changing the disc here, which is very much allowed. Spiegel now, back with it. Giving a little 1-2. Again, the Germans very patient here, happy to work the resets, not force anything. Wolzak has to go up early and gets that just as well. The deep shot is on. She balloons one up into the sky. Who knows where that's going to end up? Not in bounds anyway, Hannah.
Certainly not. You could see when Wolzak released that, her body control has really leant back, which is a great dance floor move, but not so much when you're wanting to throw downfield for yards. But it's a bit of spice there from Wolzak, as giving the Canadians a disc back. See if they can hold this one. And in the hands of who other than Timmy Zhang.
Timmy All-Star, as he's affectionately known in Canada. As they gain yards. Swinging the disc over and back. Kimura. Brittany Dos Santos puts one up high in there. There could be an opportunity to make a play, but goes up early. It's their big man, Auger Samar. Oh, and another throwaway. Spiegel has a deep option there. He doesn't hesitate. And again, easily run down by Schlur. 3-0 Germany. Who thought of this, Hannah?
Well, you can see the dismay on Auger Samar there as he just... The body language, oh no, it's happened. They've got on away with it. But yeah, Germans coming out hot in the black this morning. This is fantastic stuff for the European side, who... If you'd have told me, Liam, we'd be at this opening game 3-0 with a clean hold for the Germans to start and then 2 second opportunity defensive breaks, I don't think I would have believed you.
Yeah, Schlur again running this one down with ease, and they are pumped right now. Germany are here, Germany are ready, making a statement in the opening few minutes of this game. I'm sure everyone in Pool A is taking note. Canada playing the game they've been playing all season, but just not connecting on some of those throws.
Well, I suppose if that is your, you have maybe not prepared so much in terms of your journey towards this World Games, but you have been seen, you have been scouted by your opposition. It doesn't necessarily give you the chance to drill your other play sets. So you've had a chance to bring out your A game, maybe your B game, but currently the Germans using all of the alphabet.
Yeah, and using all of their roster now as we see more of their kind of D-line players coming out here for an offensive point. Tim Sang staying out there though. As we see a split stack here from the Canadians. Set play there. Molly Lewis getting it off the opening cut. Looking back for Sang. Nice give go with Lewis. Looking for the undershot there. Well gathered in by Kevin Underhill. One of the more experienced players on this Canadian roster. A little shake and bake there as well from the Canadians. But looked like it was possible trip on Lily Troutman.
Yeah, I think a little bit of boot-to-boot contact on that one. Troutman just taking a big face full of dirt.
Yeah, I think just the legs is getting tangled up there.
Hey, yeah, we're coming up on time. Can we get a resolution here? It sounds like you're... All right, retracted.
It looked like a retracted offensive foul there, so the disc will stay with Lewis, who touches it in. Very flat force from the Germans. And it's nice, steady offense here for Canadians. This is better. Hannah Dawson now. Oh, and a good poach block there from Spiegel. Read that one like a book. Gerner now. And another big deep shot. These Germans just keep wanting more. Oh, and an incredible grab from Tim Sang, like a thief in the night. Comes round the back there. Did not think he was going to get that one.
Absolutely not. It looked like the German player had position for days. What a thief.
Robbie Brennan with the disc now. With the big around throw. Kevin Underhill. And they need to get a score on the board. And can they get one here? This one's going to float. But unfortunately, no bookends for Tim Sang.
No, that was a, should we say, a slightly dialed in play. It was the obvious choice because it's generally the right choice to put that big throw down that far sideline. But it was just that little bit too predictable, and it gave the defender an opportunity to just get in the way and make the throw have to go all the way around the body.
Marvin Volvogel with the disc now. Swings it around. You wonder how many break opportunities Germany are going to get. They've got a lot in these opening few minutes, but I have a feeling it could tighten up as the game goes on. Really need to take these opportunities when they come. Spiegel now in the back of his own end zone. Not a place you want to be. Thinks about the deep shot. What's a dangerous throw up though? Almost to Callahan, just outside the end zone. A quick, easy pass. And the Canadians get on the board. Looks like there could be a call on the field. Nikki Preen.
Yeah, matched up against Alyssa Mason. Bit too much bodies in the air. I mean, it was definitely a high shot. Not sure that's exactly the execution that Germany wanted.
Yeah, dangerous pass across your own end zone with a lot of float and height. Bit of a hospital pass.
Definitely caused by the pressure from the Canadians looking to turn this game around in its early stages. Because certainly if the Germans get another break here, I can't help but think we're going to have to see a timeout being called.
Looks like a contested foul. So we'll be coming back to Spiegel. I believe the stall count will be 6. See if he tries that throw again, or maybe lash it to the end zone might be a good opportunity here. Getting very high in the stall count now, puts one up into space, looking for Volvogel. Brennan gets position and gets a D for the Canadians. This Irishman who's now living in Canada throws it away though.
Well, that was definitely a great defensive heads-up bid anyway. It was probably going to be too far to be received.
Yeah, there's been fantastic defense from these Canadians, but their offense has not been clicking. And Marvin Volvogel calls the timeout, first of the game.
Yeah, well, despite my prediction that if the Germans got a break, that they Team Canada would take their first timeout of this match. 1 timeout per half per team, 2 over the game overall, to giving them a brief reprise, which I don't think is a bad call here. I think certainly this is a pivotal moment for Team Germany. If they can punch this one in, then they're going to really give the Canadians something to think about, but equally an opportunity for the 2-strong coaching unit of Carla De Filippo and Matthew Berezan to chat to Team Canada and see if they can bring the goods out of this very talented team.
It was Germany who called the timeout, but I nearly feel that Canada could benefit more from it. If you see this miscommunication here from Brennan. Disc played on a field 100 meters long with 2 18-meter end zones. As you see, coming back in off this timeout, Germany in a vertical stack. Wahlvogel looking for the reset immediately to Spiegel. And looking to isolate people on the front of that stack. Brilliant play here from Gerner, working that break side. Kyoko, Nikki Preen gets horizontal there. Looking very good, this German side. And Schmeier, back to Spiegel. A big buttery biscuit around the side, and Nikki Preen with a fantastic goal. That is 4-0 Germany.
Oh my goodness, and a lovely balletic celebration to punctuate the score there. Taking some moves out of her teammate Konrad Schlersberg, the former ballet dancer. That's why he gets a lot of his leg game from. But that's another break for Team Germany. They are putting themselves large and in charge. Just a bit of delicate footwork there from the 2-time Eurostar Prien.
I give her a 10 for her landing there and dismount. Fantastic. Get up in the air, catching that one. Actually did a bit of gymnastics herself, Nikki Preen. Actually used to do gymnastics with Kyoko Vineves before they ever played Ultimate. So they actually knew each other pre-flying disc.
Well, whatever secret source, the magic that's currently flowing in the veins of Team Germany, it's working for sure. They've definitely been enjoying the scenes down in Alabama and Birmingham. Watching many of the other sporting disciplines, we've been delighted to bring you lots of coverage from the World Games. Some powerlifting action I think they were checking out, as well as the lacrosse. So many delightful sports and so many talented athletes there, showing their stuff at this world elite level.
Yeah, the Germans looking so focused there and ready for this. The Canadians a bit flustered right now. As you see it drenched Tim Sang. Don't know if that's water, sweat, or tears or what it is, but they need to find a few more gears in this matchup if they want to get back into this game.
And it's interesting because the first block of the game we did see that layout build from Lena Trautmann, but largely it's just been errors, lots of overthrows on their deep looks, and Team Canada are going to have to look, as I say, further down the playbook, see if they can bring us something a little bit different here. But they just need a hold. They've got the talent to do it. They've got the intelligence to do it in their coaching staff. The Canadians, this iteration for the World Games, having chosen a play style that suits the athletes that they've chosen as a group, rather than trying to bring playmakers into specific roles for a sort of defined offense and defense strategy. But at the moment, the momentum is behind the Team Germany players.
You see Levka Valzak blowing on her fingers and the disc. Kind of muggy conditions in Birmingham, Alabama. But they look focused and ready, this German side. Canadians looking for their first point of the game. Menzies puts up a disc, but looks like there was some call in the field. Mike McKenzie is down. Not sure what happened there. Maybe a possible collision. I think this will go back to the hands of Menzies anyway.
This looks like a little bit of a collision downfield. But I tell you what, I am excited to watch the matchup of Menzies and Benavides there in this game, as we'll see the latter stages develop. Two very talented, very agile athletes.
We hope that Mike McKenzie's okay. Dusher picks up the disc.
Like that happened after the throw.
Okay.
But it's up to you to, yeah.
Just here?
Yeah, just there.
Looks like an uncontested foul, so this will be with Mike McKenzie. Puts one into space as they move the disc quickly now here. Brittany Dos Santos. Kevin Underhill working the swings really well, Canada, but struggling to get big yards upfield. Another inside break and around. And we see these swings again. Waljak thinks about going up, but Dos Santos reels that one in, and this could be the first goal of the game for Canada, and they needed a fantastic goal. Andrew Carroll speeding up the line.
Indeed, and a much needed at long last hold for the Canadian side. Clean in terms of lack of turnovers, although that was, of course, that stoppage for the uncontested foul in the centre of the field. Finally, the slightly loose marks of the German matchups kind of coming unstuck a little bit. They are allowing those around sort of swing passes. Obviously, Team Canada coming out a little bit nervous, but that should give them something to perhaps apply a plaster to the wounds that Team Germany have scratched out so far in this game.
Yeah, and using Andrew Carroll's speed there to get free up the line. It seems like the Canadians kind of blocking each other off a little bit, getting a little flustered downfield. As you said, the Germans happy to let them swing, but struggling to get real flow downfield. That was the first time we saw them attack the end zone and get a clean goal.
And perhaps some blown coverage for Carroll there. Didn't seem to have a male matchup. The individual running him down was Mona Liebert. But Canadians with their first opportunity for D for a very long time in this match.
Yeah, Ty Barbieri with his first pull of the game. And the Germans boosting down the field, and in acres of space is Nicky Preen for a second goal a game. That was easy, Hannah.
You saw that play developing, the pass before the scoring pass was made. Preen just absolutely turning on the jet and racing downfield. So 6-1 up, 1 point away from taking half-time in this game, our Team Germany. And I would back them to do it with a defensive block coming out here, because Team Canada looking a tiny bit flat, if we can say that.
Yeah, Muller with a fantastic shot to the end zone for Preen, and she definitely has her celebrations down. Been a standout player in Europe for best part of a decade now. Has played with the likes of the Iceni, Seagulls, lots of the top teams all over Europe. It's great to see her get the pedestal she maybe deserves and gets a little more limelight in this high level.
Absolutely. We did see Preen take a bit of a step back just before the pandemic paused the sport that we all enjoy and love so much, but it's a delight to see her back taking the field and representing her home nation once more. And of course, many of these players will also be doing double duty, appearing in but 2 weeks' time at the World Ultimate Club Championships, also stateside in Mason, Ohio, later on in July.
Schlur now. Germany coming out in defense, looking to take half. Zhang catches the pull, centers to Kimura. Looking a little better now, the Canadians. Ajay Samar back to Kimura, who's playing as that axis handler, orchestrating this offense. And a pick call downfield. This is going to stay on that sideline. That is Carroll, the only goal scorer for this Canadian team so far. Hoping to get a few more. Carroll's McKenzie deep, but looking at his resets, getting high in the stall count now. Zhang comes back. There's a 1-2 with Carroll. Thinks about the deep shot, but reluctant to this stage of the game, Canada, after so many turnovers on their deep shots. And German defense doing really well, but Canadians almost cutting themselves off downfield. Menzies to Sang. Goes up line. Knocking on the doorstep now. The Canadians and find one. Cram it in the cram hole. Fantastic goal. Front corner of the end zone. Good patience there from the Canadians. Dos Santos gets her first goal of the tournament.
Yeah, usually found in the backfield. The number 70 for Canada, with her speed and her height, will occasionally sneak forward. Does it there, just posts one in. But that was not particularly pretty for Team Canada. I'm enjoying the German defense, where they seem to be really tactically softening their marks. So their matchups, they're playing person defense so far. No interesting zones yet have come out from either side. But just kind of the variation of the marks and the spacing downfield really seems to be stifling a lot of the movement for Team Canada until they snuck that one in.
Dos Santos, one of the Sixers players out of Toronto on this team.
One of six Sixers players. Bit of a tongue twister for us here in the booth.
Yeah, Catherine Menzies, who plays with Vancouver Traffic, only non-Sixers players on this roster.
Indeed, and they will, as we mentioned, the World Ultimate Club Championships also coming up in but a few weeks. Bit of an international flavour joining the Sixers roster, the crew, and there will be live coverage from that event as well. So a summer of fun for our Ultimate fans.
Werner, side stack here from the Germans. Looking to isolate Beutenmuller, but a zone defense from the Canadians. Looks like a traditional cup, 3 people surrounding the disc. The Germans kind of slow things down, happy to just get 1 or 2 passes. As now see the Canadians, looks like they're transitioning to a person defense. Muller up the field to Gerner. Looking for Beutenmuller, who's been shut down very well high in the stall count, but pings one across the field to Muller. And a call downfield in a stack. Nikki Prina and Levka Volzak have done a lot of running in this opening half of the game, and just a shot to the front of the stack. That was a dangerous pass. Doscher now back to Muller. Now to Volzak. And the shot's there, but she hosts this one. Muller going every other pass now as he shoots the end zone, and that is Anna Gerner. Germany take it 6-2 now.
Indeed, so 1 point away from taking half-time in this match. I'm loving the overhead shots, the way you can really see the spread of the field and how the movement is working, and it is working mighty fine indeed for the German set. We are getting into some nice trading now. Team Canada have settled some clean holds for both sides, but at the moment, Liam, I'm not sure the Canadians are going to be able to generate the momentum to climb the hill that the Germans, the wall, one might even say, that they've built around this Canadian side.
You see Nico Muller, Anna Gerner have great chemistry so far in this opening game. That just shows all the work they've put in. Have really not struggled at all to get reset. Sometimes it gets high in the stall count, but they definitely trust each other to get free. This is the first tournament WFDF are using the prescribed gender pulling rule.
Indeed, it has been addressed in Europe. So the mixed division, 7 players alternating on a rotating basis, the ABBA rule. So the gender ratio of female matching athletes versus male matching athletes, 4-3. And whoever is representative of the more gender on the field will be taking the pull.
Vertical stack here from Canada. Nora with that opening cut. Much better progression now from the Canadians. Carroll lobs one out to Kimura again. Much better spacing here for the Canadians, and looking to put it in the end zone. Oh, and almost touched by Schlur, but he waits for it and waits patiently. Malik Ogier Samar with another great goal for Canada.
Yeah, after a series of holsterings where there was space available in the deep part of the field for the Canadians, a spicy around break, and you say nearly an opportunity for another German block, but just manages to reel it one in and keep this half alive for at least one more point.
And now Germany with the chance to take half. See Canada starting to get their groove now, but can they get those breaks back? They were definitely flustered in the first few minutes of this game and allowed Germany to take a lead. I thought Schlor was going to get this one. Definitely gets up, but just misses it by a millimeter, and well read by Roger Sommer.
Well, that's the thing, as a defender, you have to go up and make those plays, and Schlor is definitely one of the individuals to go get discs like that. The Pride of New York player plays in the States regularly, although not quite in these humid and hot conditions. I'll just say still early in the day in Birmingham, but going to be a hot and sweaty week.
You see Mike McKenzie here pulling for the Canadians. Him and Nico Müller on the German side have played with hundreds of U24 teams and U20 teams throughout their ages. Lots of international experience on both these rosters. Müller now launches one deep, and a fantastic run down is going to be just inside the end zone. Samuel Beutenmüller takes half for Germany with a big old buttery biscuit from Nico Müller.
Oh yes, the offensive cutter for Bad Skid closes up this first half, missing his brother Holger Beutenmüller, but Samuel will do just fine. And the disc placement on that throw, Liam, how gorgeous was that?
That was beautiful. Holger who needs him? He's back. I'm sure his brother is cheering him on somewhere. Definitely three Beutenmüller bowlers who play flying disc at a high level, but it's Samuel who's getting goals for Germany. That is a fantastic backhand hook from Nico Müller.
And we see another Müller is going to be on our screen. Marco, the older brother, who has been coaching the German women's side. In fact, the coaching staff for Team Germany, Stefan Reckert at the head position, usually the German Open coach, Marco Müller, as we discussed, from women, with Max Liebersberger and Stephanie Sauer, former women's player for the German national side. A bit of love coming up on our screen.
So Germany take half 7-3 over the Canadians.
We welcome you back on site in Birmingham. What a half for the Germans to get this event started. Who saw that coming? Evan Lepler with Daryl Stanley and Megan Tormey. Daryl, the Canadians looked like they were just meeting each other for the first time. They fell behind 4-0. What'd you see?
Wow. I mean, I've known them. They started out in that split stack, and I was excited to see that for them. That's usually a bread and butter. They're crumbling right out of that, and they're going with this vertical offense that's really focused on trying to get the discs to the break side of the field. I don't know. It's not as potent as I'm used to seeing from Canada. They're usually known for the quick strikes. They're not getting a lot of those.
Megan, Germany was perfect on offense in that first half. Their O-line converted every possession flawlessly. Canada had 7 O-line turnovers. The last 7 points of the half were played turnover-free. But what do you make of the start for Germany?
Well, first of all, the preparation that they put in leading into this tournament is on full display. They look so cohesive as a unit. You can tell that this team has a lot of chemistry. It's also clear they've done a lot of preparation for the moment. There does not appear to be any nerves faltering their performance. They are just clicking.
The first possession for the Germans was very patient, Daryl. They took a long time. Their ensuing offensive possessions were quick strike attack engineered by Nico Müller.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, I was talking about potency earlier. I think the German offense is showing you what the ability to threaten those deep throws early on in the game. It really just opens up the defense and makes it so that your underneath options later are just a lot easier. Like, Canada's yet to establish that, and I think we're seeing that as a difference.
So a huge first half for Germany. Megan, what is Canada discussing right now? I mean, they were so excited, presumably, to start this event, to be down 4-0 at the start. Woof.
Yes, but they're making very adjustable errors. They're throwing to people who aren't open. They're not setting themselves when they throw those long shots. They're taking passes that aren't particularly open, so they just need to dial it back, calm themselves down a little bit, and go back to the talents that got them onto the team in the first place. They don't need to rush this, and that really has been the problem that they faced in the first half, is that they threw too quickly to people who weren't open.
Strong opening statement from Germany. They lead 7-3 over Canada at halftime. Liam and Hannah have the call of the second half from the Olympic Channel studios in Madrid in a moment.
Welcome back to the second half of the opening game in flying disc. Germany shockingly in the lead 7-3. A big point difference over the Canadians. Let's see what they can do in the second half. Liam Grant alongside Hannah Pendlebury. Hannah, talk us through that first half.
Well, it was a shocker indeed. I don't think we're necessarily surprised to see the Germans in front. I mean, they did start out on offense, so if it had just been trading out, we would see them ahead at the moment. But it's just the absolute severity of their lead. 4 points unanswered. Not taking it off the first opportunity. They did have to kind of find a little bit of rhythm for their defensive line. Trading out since 1-4, but at the moment, large and in charge are the team in black from Germany, and Canadians looking to respond now.
Gamora now with the disc, as we see the Germans surround that vertical stack, not playing a traditional style of defense.
Yeah, our first look at zone. The Germans trying to change up the rhythm and keep Canada guessing.
Carroll now finds space down the sideline. The Germans still staying in this kind of zone set, and the Canadians going through this like a hot knife through butter. A big bladey flick around. And now an easy shot to the end zone, and they worked that one easy, Canadians. That's a good point for them to start this second half. Santos with her second goal of the game.
Looks like a relatively standard junk zone there. Nothing too interesting or strange, and the Canadians making fast work of it. It's always a risk to pull out a zone look, especially if a team haven't been connecting in the same way that Team Canada has. They've been overthrowing their deep shots, not quite finding each other on the field. But clearly that gave them the opportunity. They've had a chance to get together at half, have a chat about what they wanted to do. And just, as you say, taking the small spaces on the far sideline, just happy to slice up that German defensive look and put their first stamp in this second half.
Yeah, some really good use of bladey throws there by the Canadians to find space downfield. Not sure if we'll see that zone look again from the Germans. Their other defensive looks proving more fruitful for them in the first half. As you see Marco Müller there, brother of Nico Müller. Lewis now with the pull. See a side stack now from the Germans, and it is the Canadians who have a zone defense as well, so both teams unable to come out with their set plays, but comfortable so far playing zone offense. You see almost 4 handlers back here for the Germans. Werner and Muller just running things in the backfield now, looking to hop a few yards. Slow and steady for the moment. Muller again has Benavides on this sideline.
Yeah, I was wondering when they were going to engage Benavides here. The Mainzel Mädchen player and key handler for Team Germany Women.
Preen working to the middle. Great patience again from the Germans. The break pass is on there and he gets it easily. Steph Doscher gets a goal, toes the line. Brilliant footwork from the German.
Yeah, lovely stutter step there from Doscher. The Karlsruhe player from Hässliche Erdferkel. We'll be seeing them coming to the World Championships later on in this season. Not quite the same unit that they were back in 2018, but a very talented young man indeed.
Yeah, Doscher has been one of the best mixed players in Europe for the last few years, but actually been playing with Bad Skid the last season or two. Hässliche Erdferkel came 7th in the world back in 2018, the highest placed European mixed team. We see Germany kind of famed for mixed ultimate. A lot of these players would play in single gender divisions and mixed. I think that's a positive for this German side and using that to their advantage.
And they were certainly one of the favourites back at the European Championships in Győr, Hungary, back in 2019. They were looking on fine form indeed. So clearly able to build up to this World Games stage. And a bit of other information about Doscher's journey to the World Games. Actually had surgery on his throwing shoulder, being a lefty, back in February. So nice to have him back on the fields, and what a way to recover.
Yeah, he's looking in fine form in this opening game. Canada need to muster up something here to get back into it. They've found some form on offense now. Carroll getting high in the stall count. Fine Sang with the round bake. Again, great swinging from the Canadians, but taking their time getting downfield. Carroll with the big backhand around the stack. Walczak is peeled off. Can she get there? And she does. Throws herself horizontal. Magnificent play from Walczak.
What a heads-up read from Levka Walczak. Reading that one, seeing the, if they're thinking, ambitious cross-throw field with the stack right there in the centre, and just makes a huge play. What an athlete.
Yeah, access denied by Levka Walczak. And that's the danger of throwing over a stack like that. If you see some head-up defenders, Walczak peeling off, and using her athleticism to make a play there. Difficult spot for Spiegel, and he throws it straight back to the Canadians. Carroll again with it. Mora. Great matchup between Schulor and Carroll. Sang now at the disc. Mora eventually getting free on Walczak. A lot of tight matchups downfield in this point. Sang bounces off of Spiegel to shoot one to the end zone, and a beautiful feathery flick into the hands of Ty Barbieri, his first goal of the game.
Yeah, the chap hailing from North Vancouver, British Columbia, just reaches that back leg to make sure he's inbounds for the goal for his side. And a good hold after a bit of a stutter there when the Germans couldn't convert off the block of Levka Walczak. You could really see how the deep offensive cutter just turned in, but the thrower had already committed to that pass.
You see Levka Walczak here. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 pounds. Denying that one there. Fantastic plays from her all game long. But they throw it straight back to Canadians, and Barbieri with some fancy footwork to get a goal himself. One of the stars of the Canadian U24 team back in 2019. And that's the easy job done for Canada, or what should be the easy job, is scoring their offensive points. They now have to get a handful of breaks to get back into this game. So they need to start on defense and get to this back and score a goal. which has proved very difficult against this German side. Gerner. Seeing a side stack again. Have been struggling with that opening pass, Germany, but are so patient and have their resets down. Are able to move the disc upfield. Gerner has had so many touches of this disc in this opening game, and each one better than the next. As we see 3 German players free on the break side there. Doscher is the one that collects it the furthest downfield and keeps the disc moving very well. And just fantastic movement, give, go offense from the Germans. Doscher uses his pace and gets one to Waldvogel, and another brilliant goal for Germany. Working the disc so well. A great team point. Everyone getting involved, moving quickly, trusting each other. And it's just a brilliant offense of this German side.
We love a little bit of small ball ultimate to just dash into the far corner of the end zone. Not the most expansive stuff that we've seen in the beginning of this game from Team Germany, but happy to play under the pressure. Great effort from Mike McKenzie trying to get in front of Stefan Doscher there, but not to be, and the Germans keep us on serve in this second half.
Germans getting hydrated here. Great backroom staff, keeping everyone focused, keeping the foot on the gas.
And one of the things that's really clear from the social media efforts coming out of Team Germany is just how much fun they're having together. They're really enjoying the scenes in Birmingham, enjoying each other as a team, and kind of that teammate banter really coming through, which definitely has to be an advantage right now with that relaxed style in which they're playing, firing themselves up when they need to, being inspirational for each other. Right now, they are still holding firm with their lead in this game.
Ernstmeyer with the big pull. Vertical stack again from the Canadians. Looks like a more traditional defense from the Germans now. Deep shot is there, and they load one up. There's going to be a lot of Germans underneath this. And it's Konrad Schlurer takes it down very easily. Great help defense from the Germans.
Yeah, a little bit static from the other teammates on Team Canada, not keeping their matchups busy enough to prevent the poaching into the deep space as that disc went up.
They're looking to extend their lead now, the Germans. Walzak shoots one to the middle now. Again, Ernstmeyer launches one to the ever-free Walzak, runs that down with acres of space, puts their hands up in the air. They're enjoying this game, Germany, and they should. They're having a fantastic performance here.
And we get our first break of the second half, and it is awarded to Team Germany. Who else in the current stage of this game? I almost thought when that deep shot was initially looked off, I thought with the underpoach that was going to be denied for Levke Volchak, but the connection is made, and they stamp another block in the book.
Yeah, 3 German defenders here. I think they were just taking their pick of who's going to go get it. Walzak just using her athleticism, one of the most athletic players in the world right now, and you can see she's in acres of space often when you look at her. Ernstmeyer with a fantastic deep shot. As you said, there was a poach in the lane, but you could see him recalibrate, take a second or two, realize there was still a throwing window to get that huck in the end zone. And see some calm breaths here from the Germans. I know they've been doing a lot of yoga during the week before their games, getting their zen. They've also been doing a lot of headers and other sports, having their own little mini world games in their houses in the weeks leading up to this event.
Well, it's one of the things that I think is underrated, but is actually quite a crucial element to flying disc sports, is that actually when you are too intense, when you're too wound up and tightly sprung, coiled if you will, it actually makes it much more difficult to execute your throws. The balance that's required, the core strength, and those kinetic chain movements like a whip. If you've ever tried throwing a disc in your life, you'll understand that if you are a bit too tense and too static, you're not going to execute, and well, certainly not to the level that you're trying to at these World Games fields. So it's nice to see them kind of keeping things loose, keeping them relaxed, and just looking confident and very, very happy to be here. But it's working out for them. And they are 3 goals shy of putting their first win in the books here in pool stages. This is Pool A, which does, of course, feature the US of A. We'll be seeing their first matchup later on this afternoon.
Yeah, it looks like Nico Muller and a lot of the O-line players will be well rested up for that game.
But defense does win matches, Liam. And right now, the Germans are giving us a show.
Canadians having to reach deep into their locker here to see what they can pull up. Sang with the around flick. Carroll, one of the few players for this Canadian side who've been getting free at will. Kimura looking down at that vertical stack and not getting a lot of options. Carroll again getting yards for this Canadian side. McKenzie takes off deep. Sang thought about it. Gets to Santos on the under. Some good poaching from the Germans, especially Volvogel at the front of that stack. Trying to peel off when possible. Dos Santos. What's winning the space? Carroll again. Sang, Dos Santos and Carroll just working really hard to get a few yards here and there, but now involving Auger Samar. Jacobson. Behind the stall count and a great block from the Germans. You could feel it coming, just immense pressure from this German side. Every single pass, every single cut, they're there. Troutman putting in some work and earning that D.
That's 2 potentially pivotal blocks for Leonard Troutman. And you can see, I'm really not enjoying how static the Canadians are upfield. I know they want to run the Dominator with those 3 very talented players in the handler space, but it's not really working for them because it's allowing the Germans to take advantage.
They're stealing one off his own player there. Innoves. Hanger ultimate with Meinzelmatchen. Is back into the handler spot, looking to run a give-go with Volzak. Known to her friends as Kyo. Running those give-goes, that's what she's known best for, and puts one up into space and well reeled in. And another great deep shot to the ever-free Volzak. Who was marking her?
Indeed, completely exploded coverage at the back of the pitch. Liv Kovalchuk reels in yet another goal to add to her total. That will make 3. And 1 big old block on our stat sheet. There was, I think, on that play, the up-line cut nearly wasn't the option that was desired by, I think it was Dush up the line, but well, way to reel that one in, to realise the throw had gone, and then have the execution on that throw. Complete money in the bank.
11-5 to Germany now.
Indeed, 3 on the bounce for the Germans. 2 breaks. At the moment, the Canadians seem to be leaking a lot of that red ink all over the field.
Troutman just getting in front of her player there, and they were doing so fantastic on defense that point, Germany, and then just blown coverage. I don't know what's happening this Canadian side here. We know how good these players are. Again, I think everyone's taking notes and maybe believing the hype of this Germany team, but Canada definitely haven't found their level that they've had throughout the season.
Absolutely not. They are hurting badly. I mean, if we got a comeback out of Team Canada at this point to take this game, it's one for the history books. But right now, they just need to punch this one in and hope.
You see Kevin Underhill in the backfield now with Sang. Maybe trying to mix up their lines a little bit. Some good flow downfield here. Deep shot is there, and it comes around, and it's just arcs into the ground. Hannah Dawson was free in the end zone.
Yeah, that's where you want to be making those hero layout bids to try and reel in the score and get your team fired up, but just hits the turf.
Canadian sideline trying to help their team out on defense here. Gerner in a tricky position, but as we see, a lot of the O-line on this point here. Mueller with a beautiful laser flick all the way downfield. Easily reeled in by Spiegel and pops it to Nicky Preen. That was too easy, and this could be coming back here. Mike McKenzie in the discussion now.
There was a slightly funny edge to the way the disc flew initially, so perhaps an offensive foul might be being called by Kevin Underhill. Oh, sorry. Mike McKenzie.
Picks has come back.
Looks like it is a pick being called
Do you have a stop
by
count?
Mike McKenzie.
Okay.
Beautiful throw from
Good point.
Nico Mueller nonetheless.
It's going to be at 1 then, if it's before that. It's coming in on 1.
Mueller now, let's see if he plays by Glastonbury rules and throws it again.
Action replay.
He's a man that's always had a big backhand hook, but you can see he's really worked on that forehand hook. He's had a few in this game already. Leads one out into space. Gerner has to put on the jet boosters to run that one down. It's Preen on the under now. Looking for her resets. Has to jab one into the ground.
Yeah, Dosha doing his absolute best to try and keep that one in contention, but good pressure from Canada to gain the disc back. See if they can stifle this run of breaks for the Germans.
Underhill. Working with Dawson.
I feel like we're now starting to see the Canadians move a bit more upfield. Everybody getting involved is causing some picks, stoppages, as players are not allowed to use each other as barriers to prevent being able to follow their match-up players. But it's better to see.
Sang has to go for the reset to Dawson, who puts one out of bounds.
And those execution errors starting to creep back in for the team in white.
Yeah, wondering is the heat starting to get to these Canadian players. Mueller looking very refreshed, has had plenty of breaks on the sideline. Just discussing with Kevin Underhill where it's going to come in. Looking for that inside break, and he gets it there. Gerner gets huge. Back to Mueller. Steph Zoscher getting involved now. Again, putting the disc at the space with the lack of wind, very easy to do that, and they're using it very effectively, the Germans. With the face guarding Canadians, is putting it out into space yet again. Mueller, bit of traffic, gets a bump into Tim Sang. See, Sang tried to peel off and make a play there, but was a bit late.
Yeah, those inside backhands to lead Nico Mueller are making me feel my feelings. They're just a thing of absolute beauty.
Yeah, Dosha just putting it out into space. They've definitely worked on that one. Very easy for the left-handed player to make that throw. Mueller now pops one into the end zone, and Sang peeled off on the mark. Almost caught that as a catched hand block.
Well, that's his second one of those. Wiley plays in the end zone to deny the German scores.
It is Kyoko Beneves maybe calling a foul here. Definitely a lot of people operating in that small space.
Yeah, putting one right in the bread mixer.
Could be an uncontested towel. As we see a lot of the German players drying their hands. Towels very important in these clammy conditions.
What was interesting, back in the 2019 Eurospace Tour, where you had Livka Volchak and Anna Gerner representing their home nation of Germany in that lovely All-Stars program, when they changed to the conditions in Raleigh, it was very different and did cause some issues.
So she's calling non-minor contact on your defender.
I'm not sure if you were also involved. Because I got the disc. Yeah, I don't want to probably hit you. I don't think my contact after the fact affected my teammate.
So it's enough time here that y'all should treat it as contested. So we've already gone over 45 seconds, working on a minute. So it needs to be, so you need to keep it contested if you can't agree here.
So our game advisors keeping us to our time limits. Jana Hamaka over there in the green shirt.
Yeah, game advisors keeping the show on the road, keeping things moving to the time limits, but the Germans get the disc back on a contested foul and a quick shake into the front corner of the end zone. Steph Doscher with another goal. Tim Sang looking frustrated there, started walking away before even the goal was scored. And it's game point Germany now, Hannah.
It certainly is the first opportunity for the defensive outfit of Team Germany to take their first win. And what a scalp against the highly decorated nation of Canada. As we say, they've been representing every single World Games since the first appearance of the flying disc on the programme back in 2001. And my, oh my, what a great campaign start for the German side.
That's some serious towel game, the Germans. Might have to talk to WFDF about the uniform guidelines. Maybe we should have matching towels.
I'd love to see it. I mean, my favourite is when you see Team Japan, who always come out in delicate levels of matching. The gloves match, the hats match. Of course, us commentators here in the booth very happy to see nice visible numbers. Anyone looking to design some jerseys, make sure we can give you the creds as due. And speaking of creds, Stefan Doscher with that goal, I believe puts himself on par now with Liv Kovalchuk with 3 goals each.
Saw some dismayed Canadian fans in the stand there, not what they were expecting on the scoreboard. Also just a little reminder to wear sun cream when appropriate.
Always. Factor 50 every day.
Barbieri. Canada need to get a few more scores on the board. Definitely need to bang in this offensive point and then start thinking about a long string of breaks. Ajay Samar puts one out into space. And this has been the story of the Canadians. It's not connecting on those hooks at all.
Yeah, there's some really nice, smart, heads-up defensive play from Team Germany. They know that that is plan A for the Canadian side. And I mean, Troutman there just peeling off, I think it was. And Spiegel will get us back into play.
Yeah, Spiegel's had a fantastic game for the German side. Has been asked a lot as this kind of main defensive handler. Has ended up with probably more touches of the disc than he expected, but has done fantastically.
And being isolated far from his teammates, currently living in Lanzarote.
Balzac now looking for Schlor downfield. Let's go all the way around and back to Spiegel. Very spread out vertical stack from the Germans. Samuel Beutenmüller, who's been fantastic as well this game. Definitely getting free at will when his teammates needed him. Oh, and a crazy pass over the top, and it's tipped and it's caught, and that is game. A bit of Mackline to win it for the Germans. Levka Valzak. Can you believe it, Hannah? Look at that scoreboard.
Oh, that's going to be one that's going to be watched back with gritted teeth. Catch your D's, but my goodness, Liam, that is an absolute statement of mission and purpose for Team Germany. They come out large and take that game away, just silenced the Canadians from 9-5 ahead. 3 breaks, 4 points on a row to begin the game and to finish us off. My, oh my, what a delight to watch.
Germany making an announcement here. Take note, USA. Kimura gets a tip to it, but Valzak was there to follow it up. It was a dangerous throw, but things is going the way of the Germans today. Valzak, well earned. She's put a lot of hard work in this year, and you can see what it means to her.
And so Team Germany rack up their first win in pool play. Canadians with their first loss, but we are still so early in the tournament. This was our opening match here on the fields in Birmingham, Alabama. But what a delight to see. Hopefully we can see the Canadians consolidate and come out stronger later on, but all yet to be played for. And it's so exciting to watch it all unfold here.
The German O-line never getting broken all game long. What a fantastic feat The Canadians cheering to their fans there. You know, it's still up for them. Just have to go beat USA now. Only 2 teams from the pool of 4 will advance to the semi-finals. So it's make or break now. Germany, you can see what it means to them. A lot of hard work's gone into this.
Although, with 4 teams to advance into the top of the bracket, we could see some craziness happen if the Canadians can pull themselves ahead, as you say, of the USA, or perhaps if the Germans suffer a loss. Some highlights of this game.
Yeah, the Germans starting with a 4-0 run in the early part of this game. A lot down to the fantastic defensive work of Konrad Schlor and Levka Walczak. You see them throwing themselves around and really catching the Canadians on the hop. And they just grew with confidence as the game goes on. Hard to say if Levka Walczak wasn't the MVP of that game, but it was really an all-around fantastic showing from the Germans. A great team effort.
Certainly, I think defense was the name of this game. Smart blocks, smart poaching, and hot, hot pressure on the warm fields in Birmingham, Alabama.
We wrap that one up. Germany 13, Canada 5.
It is heating up here in Birmingham. Literally, we are all sweating here wearing this Alabama sunshine. But goodness gracious, Team Germany 13-5 over the Canadians. 4-0 at the start, and they never look back. We welcome you back to the site of the 2022 World Games with Daryl Stanley and Megan Tormey. I am Evan Lepler. We'll be with you until the start of the next game, which will be Australia and France. We'll have Nico Mueller, Levka Walczak, 2 of the stars of that game, joining us here in a little bit. But first, your initial thoughts, Megan, on what we just witnessed.
Well, it couldn't have been a more starkly contrasted game. Germany was entirely prepared for the moment, and Canada simply wasn't. It seemed like Canada planned to get their feet underneath them in this game, Germany giving them absolutely no time. You know, the very first point, I really felt like Germany was moving slowly. They were taking their time, showing patience, and after that, they were just firing on all cylinders. On the flip side, contrasting that, Canada's offense really never seemed to find their groove. The defense from Germany really pushed them to the sideline, and then the downfield defenders were totally prepared to come in and just swat the disc away. We saw that so many times.
Yeah, I feel like at least Canada was trying to find who's going to be the person to make the plays. DeSantos was incredible in that game. I think they found something there. It was a little late to find that. I think if you come into the game knowing that she's going to be your best outlet, maybe that's a different game. But
yeah, she was involved in 4 of their 5 scores, but it just wasn't enough for them to stay ahead of the striking German defense.
I think what's impressive to me is that Germany, in the second half, didn't just kind of rest in their laurels. I thought that they might when they came out with that zone. I thought they were maybe going to slow the game down and just kind of take those 3 breaks from the first half. But to pour it on like that at the end, I think was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they definitely seemed to be still workshopping different things that they wanted to exhibit at the World Games. So they took the second half as the opportunity to ratchet down the defense, and we saw them, outperforming themselves in the first half.
Yeah, they had some transition zone sets from zone to person defense. I mean, that was the kind of preparation that I think, we didn't necessarily see from Canada in this game.
As a coach, what stood out most to you about Germany's precision and pressure?
I love that. I think German precision is like that's perfect. That's what it's always about, right? To me, they looked calm and in control of like their sets. I noticed their communication to each other seemed well prepared. Like they had been through a training camp in Atlanta and had played us several games. I just felt as though that they knew what they were going to do, which is really an important thing. And everybody looked in control and comfortable with their role. So that's what I saw as the difference between the two teams.
Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it seemed like the entire team on the sideline knew who they were talking to. Everyone was really invested in the game. They had the right mental preparation. Everyone was dialed in, speaking to one another, speaking positively to one another. They just looked incredibly ready.
So Canada finds themselves at the bottom of the A pool almost before the tournament really begins. I mean, we just played one game and a 13-5 loss. From a point differential standpoint, that could be huge if the Canadians are able to right the ship, beat USA and GB. So Canada's going to have to do some soul searching here. Their next game is tomorrow against Great Britain. That'll be the 11:30 Central Time game, the second game of the day tomorrow. But Germany is going to enjoy themselves. Germany, USA, to open the second evening session on 4 p.m. Central Time here in Alabama tomorrow. Germany, USA, all of a sudden even spicier than anyone could have imagined.
For the pool, perhaps, right? Like, I think this new format's really going to highlight you can't take any game off. You lose that game, like you said, with the point that they did. Even if they win the next two games, it's going to be very challenging because they're going to need the U.S. to lose by a lot, or whoever ends up in 2-1 with them. I think that's just
or need GB to upset Germany. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
You mentioned the energy, and there's an interesting dynamic as we see the teams pose for a photo. That's cool. There's not a whole lot of atmosphere at the fields right now, and you talk about sideline energy. Each team has 7 subs, and they're tired subs. I mean, because they just played super hard on the previous point. There's not a back 14 into the roster that can be that sideline energy, Daryl. So that changes the dynamic that most of these players are used to with their club teams.
That's a really good point. And I think I saw Germany just make a concerted effort to make sure that the players were getting up and vocal, and they recognize the strength of only having 7 on the sideline to say that each person can have one person to talk to. It's very convenient. Some of the times when you have all those extra players, it can be very challenging to figure out who's going to talk to whom.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And we heard point after point, the players on the German sideline were telling their players on the field, listen to my voice, I'm going to be talking to you. And we didn't hear that from Canada. There are a lot of things to overcome when you go to an international tournament. There's different formats, and you spend your entire career playing Ultimate one way and then have to pivot slightly. But keeping your teammates' energy elevated is absolutely essential. So even if you have only 14 players on the team, making sure that you're giving positive energy on the sideline, that's a constant that needs to be addressed.
Maybe there's something the coaches can pick up for the next game, because I know for me, I try to be whatever the team isn't bringing. The team doesn't have that energy in that moment, I can be that voice, I can be that energy, I can be celebrating all the little things. I think something like that could be really helpful for them, for Canada, that is, in their next couple games.
There was an eerie vibe on the Canadian sideline and from the coaches. There was almost a resignation after they fell behind 4-0. Not that they didn't keep fighting on the field, but there was very different, understandably so, body language from the two teams and the two coaching staffs.
Yeah, that's where you've got to find a way to bring that energy, right? Like, yeah, the weight of the tournament and the weight of expectations of your nation are heavy. I found myself down with the U24 team in our very first game too, in the 2019 Heidelberg tournament, and you just got to bring it. You got to bring that energy, and we found a way, and I think that struggle early on was really helpful for us. This could have been a defining moment for Canada, and they'll have to find a way to take solace from it otherwise.
Real quick, because we're going to go to break and bring in Nico and Levka. Daryl, just want to ask you, as a coach, you're getting ready to play Germany tomorrow, and you just watched the Germans whip up on Canada. What's going through your mind as the coach getting ready to play them the next day?
I mean, let's stop those pull plays, number one. Germany was very comfortable with how quickly they were scoring. I think Miranda Ruff-Knowles, the defensive coach for the Team USA, will probably do a very good job of slowing that down. But I'm also really worried about Nico. I'm worried about number 2 on Germany.
Nikki Prien.
Oh, my.
Yeah, Prien,
find the matchup for her.
Gerner and Walczek were all phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yes. So those matchups, I think, are going to be critical to get right.
We're just getting started here at the World Games. We're taking you to the start of game number 2 between Australia and France. That'll be called by Tom Stiles and Rahel Toshnerova in the Madrid Olympic Channel studios. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, hope to have Nico Mueller and Levka Walczek from Team Germany as they take down Canada in a stunner, 13-5. That wasn't intentional stunner, but it's kind of appropriate because it was Germany. 13-5 Germany with a win to start the World Games. We'll be back.
There is a place where we are us at our best.
A place where everyone is welcome.
Regardless of age, shape, skin color, or anything else that tries to box people in.
A place where we defy the odds, defy the naysayers,
and even defy gravity.
A place where it's accepted that success
doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave, to the determined.
A place that knows grit, knows grace, knows bright lights, and knows empty bleachers.
A place where we remember to laugh.
Where we learn to trust.
Learn to high-five strangers.
And eventually, even learn to fly.
A place where character, community, and competition
are all as balanced as a disc in flight.
That place isn't in a stadium or on a field.
That place is in the spirit of our players.
Because we don't just play Ultimate, we live Ultimate.
My face on
This is good.
Back here at the 2022 World Games in Birmingham, Alabama, Team Germany 13-5 routing Canada. And we welcome you back to our game day set with Daryl Stanley, Megan Tormey, Evan Lepler, and our superstar from game number 1, Levka Walczek. Congratulations. How did it feel getting out, competing, and taking care of business?
Well, what can I say? I mean, it felt good. That's all.
How surprised were you by the beatdown that you just put on the Canadians, who had gold medal ambitions coming in here?
Well, you know, we always knew that we could beat all the teams in the world. We had a really big, long preparation, and this was just proving it to ourselves, but then at the same time proving it to the entire world, I guess.
And at what point during that long preparation did you realize this team is really something special? I think we're going to shock the world, and certainly Team Canada when we step onto the field at the World Games.
I actually think it felt special from the beginning. Even the tryout process, the entire preparation starting last summer, it was just special, and then it just kept increasing, being more and more special.
Levka, I heard when you and Nico were interviewed prior to the tournament, Nico was pretty confident he said he wasn't worried. He said people should be worried about Germany. I mean, after that performance, are you concerned that now maybe you guys are going to be a target by Great Britain and the U.S. to come take that second place spot?
I think now I'm just going to repeat what Nico said back then, and he said we are focusing on ourselves and we are just going to focus on our game and our play.
That was very evident. Well done.
So I understand that you have been building this German World Games team for a long time, but for our viewers who don't know the grind, can you take us back to the beginning and give us a little bit of the timeline and the ascendance progression that you guys made to arrive at the point today where you're able to come and dominate Canada?
Sure, I'll try to do it quickly. We had some tryouts last summer, I think August, July, something. Then we started having training camps in October, but we kept practicing and also competing in a very big training squad of actually 28 players. And we only, or the coaches only decided what the team's going to look like, or decide on the 14 players that we're going to play the World Games eventually in pretty late in April. So we had at least one training camp per month, I think. So it was just lots of training camps with super high intensity because we're such a big squad.
What was the week before this tournament like? You came to Birmingham about a week early. You've had some practices leading up to this. What were the final bows that you were putting on your offensive, defensive sets that just gave you the confidence to come into the game with the playing style that you did today?
I think we didn't change any plans or tactics. We just worked the last bit on the connections that we had, and also it was nice.
The last goal, Levka, it was deflected, and it was like it was meant to be, right into your hands.
Yeah, it was. I guess when it works out, it works out.
You caught 3 of the final 4 goals for your team. You both began and ended the game on 4-0 runs. You actually ended the game on a 5-0 run. It was 8-5, and you closed 13-5. Let's talk about some of your teammates.
Yes, please.
Nico Mueller quarterbacking the offense. I mean, your O-line did not turn the disc over once. There weren't that many O points because you guys were mostly on the D-line because you got so many breaks, 7 of them. But what can you say about Nico's performance?
A big shout-out. That's all I can say. I mean, look at his throws, look at his hucks. The entire offense, I think it was just clean, easy offense, looked great.
And for folks familiar with German International Ultimate, Nikki Prien has been a star for a long time.
Yep.
She looks as good as she's ever been.
She is. She's amazing.
It's fantastic, Hunter.
So tomorrow, the United States of America, the favorites, the gold medalists at each of the last 4 World Games. How much have you already prepared and thought about that game? And what will the next 30 or so hours be like before you face them at 4 o'clock tomorrow?
Well, what do you want me to say? We're ready. We did our homework. And back to repeating what Nico Müller said, we're going to actually mostly focus on ourselves. Have a little bit of fun time today. Go to bed early. Sleep in. Eat well. And then be ready for the game.
Well, congratulations on what has to be an amazing feeling of coming and starting game 1 and just taking care of business. Levka Valchek of Team Germany, 4 goals, including 3 of the last 4 as the Germans closed out Team Canada. We're going to take a short timeout, get resettled, and then we'll be back about 15 minutes before the opening pull of Australia and France. Game 2 of the day. Flying disc is underway at the 2022 World Games, and we have an early candidate for MVP of the tournament. Levka Valchek leading the way for the Germans as they take down Canada 13-5. We'll see you in about 20 minutes here in Birmingham.
Bye. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you so much.